If you do not clean the ashes of yesterday, the fire of today cannot burn bright. Many people carry their past like a heavy bag across their shoulders. Old guilt, past failures, words spoken in anger, or wounds left unhealed. These things weigh us down. You cannot run forward if you are chained backward. In Shaolin philosophy, we understand what is not transformed is transmitted. If you do not clean the mind, the emotion will leak into your decisions. If you do not release the past, you will repeat it. Let me be clear, we do not escape the past by denying it. We face it, we clean it, we extract the lesson, and we let go of the pain. Like cleaning the temple floor every morning, we clean our inner temple through discipline, reflection, and practice. You are not your past. You are the one who can transform it. But if you choose not to, then you must also accept. You will stay stuck where you are. In the Shaolin tradition, we begin every day by cleaning the temple grounds. It is not merely about maintaining the physical structure, it is a ritual, a form of mental and spiritual discipline. The act of sweeping away the dust and leaves is symbolic of sweeping the mind clean of yesterday's clutter. This ancient practice reminds us that if the space where we live is filled with old dirt, it cannot receive the freshness of today. The same principle applies to the mind. If your mental space is clouded by regret, anger, guilt, or sorrow, then no matter what opportunities life brings, you will not have the clarity or presence to receive them fully. Your future is built not only on your efforts, but on the foundation of your inner clarity. Without this, the future remains foggy, polluted by what has not yet been released. A mind that has not been cleansed becomes reactive. It does not respond with wisdom, but with woundedness. You may believe that you are making free choices, but those choices are often echoes of old pain. Someone who has been betrayed in the past may sabotage trust in every new relationship. Someone who has failed once may hesitate eternally, even when success is within reach. In this way, the unclean past becomes a silent architect of your present moment. The mind, when unexamined, becomes a room full of shadows. When we don't take time to clean the inner space, those shadows grow into patterns, habits, reactions, emotional outbursts that slowly begin to define us. It is not the past itself that traps us, but our attachment to it, our unwillingness to process and let go. We must understand that life moves forward, but your spirit may remain stuck unless you consciously choose otherwise. Just like stale air in a room that hasn't been opened in weeks, an unclean mind begins to suffocate your potential. The choices you make are filtered through fear, not freedom. You may think you are living, but in truth you are only surviving, repeating the same emotions, the same stories again and again. In Shaolin philosophy, we teach that thoughts are like water. Water, when clear, reflects the sky. But when muddied, it reflects only confusion. If your thoughts are clouded by unresolved emotions and unclean impressions, you cannot see your own potential clearly. It is only by cleaning the mental space that you can begin to reflect the truth of who you are and of what you are capable. Cleaning the mind is not a one-time act. It is a daily practice. Just as dust settles on the cleanest floor, negativity can return to the cleanest mind. But if you build the discipline to reflect every day, to sit in stillness and acknowledge what you carry, then you will also have the power to let go. Breathing techniques, mindfulness, martial movement, these are not exotic tricks, but practical tools to polish the mirror of the mind. Each breath, each movement is an act of cleansing. You are not trying to forget the past, you are transforming its residue into wisdom. You are not pretending that nothing happened. Rather, you are ensuring that what happened does not control what will happen next. This is the true power of a clean mind. It gives you the freedom to respond rather than react, to choose rather than repeat. In the path of self-mastery, one of the greatest delusions is that time alone can heal all wounds. This is not true. Time may conceal pain, but it does not resolve it. It buries it, layers it beneath distractions, beneath temporary pleasures, beneath the noise of everyday life. But still, it lingers. And because it has not been consciously met, that pain will surface again. Often it emerges not in the same form, but in the patterns of our behaviors, in the way we speak, react and make choices. If we do not process our pain, we do not bury it, we plant it. And from that seed it grows quietly into cycles we do not understand, but live through again and again. Many people believe they have moved on simply because they no longer speak of what hurt them. But silence is not healing. Suppression is not transformation. A past betrayal, a childhood wound, a deep failure, if left unprocessed, these events build a psychological structure within us. This structure begins to influence our perception of the world. We may become overly defensive, always expecting to be hurt. We may doubt others, or more dangerously, doubt ourselves. And then, the present moment begins to look exactly like the past. Not because it is, but because we are viewing it through a lens shaped by unhealed emotions. Without realizing it, we keep entering the same emotional territory, mistaking the repetition for coincidence, when in truth, it is continuity. In Shaolin teachings there is an understanding. The body reflects the mind, and the mind reflects the past. This means that even our physical posture can reveal how much pain we carry. Tension in the shoulders, tightness in the chest, shallow breathing, these are signs that the body is still reacting to memories it cannot name. Martial arts teaches us to become aware of these tensions, not just to fight better, but to live better. A warrior who is emotionally reactive is easily defeated. He does not see clearly, for his vision is clouded by unresolved feelings. Likewise, if you do not take the time to sit with your past pain, to observe it with clarity and courage, you will continue to act it out in your daily life, hurting others or hurting yourself, unknowingly. The path to mastery is the path of awareness. And awareness means facing the uncomfortable. It means revisiting what you would rather forget, not to suffer again, but to understand, to release, and to grow. When pain is processed, it becomes wisdom. But when it is avoided, it becomes a prison. You must learn to ask, where is this emotion truly coming from? Is it from this moment or from long ago? In meditation, we train to sit still and watch the waves of the mind without clinging or resisting. It is in that stillness that past pain rises, and in that same stillness it dissolves. What remains is clarity, and from clarity comes peace. From peace comes strength, and from strength, freedom. Discipline is the bridge between knowledge and transformation. Many people know they are trapped in their past, yet very few do the consistent work to break free. Why? Because it is easier to repeat a pattern than to rebuild the mind. Cleaning the past is not a romantic idea. It is a rigorous discipline. It demands effort, consistency, and patience. Just as you do not sweep the temple floor once and expect it to remain clean forever, you cannot visit your inner wounds once and expect them to vanish. The dirt of yesterday will return today, not because life is cruel, but because the mind, like the body, accumulates residue from every experience. This is why discipline is essential. It allows you to face, clean, and purify the internal space again and again, without complaint and without delay. When we speak of cleaning the past, we do not mean erasing it. We do not mean pretending it didn't happen. Cleaning is the act of removing what is unnecessary, what no longer serves you. A martial artist does not hold on to every technique he has ever learned. He refines, simplifies, and sharpens only what is needed. The same principle applies to your past. It happened. You experienced it. But now you must ask, what am I still carrying that is not helping me grow? This process takes honest self-reflection, and that honesty can be uncomfortable. But truth is the greatest cleaner, and to live truthfully requires inner discipline, a commitment to be real with yourself every single day, no matter how difficult that truth may be. Shaolin practices are built on daily repetition, not for the sake of routine, but for transformation. Whether it is Qigong meditation or mindful movement, the power lies not in doing it once, but in doing it daily. Why? Because each day brings new challenges, new emotions, and new chances for old patterns to rise again. Without discipline, your mind becomes reactive. But with discipline, you create space between stimulus and response. That space is where wisdom lives. When you clean the body, the breath, and the thoughts regularly, you become lighter. Not only physically, but energetically. You begin to carry yourself with presence instead of pain. You stop reacting from old scripts and start responding from conscious choice. It must be understood, the pain of discipline is far lighter than the pain of regret. To wake early and meditate, to journal honestly, to breathe deeply instead of exploding in anger, these may seem like small acts, but over time they purify the self. And what is a pure self? It is not someone who has never suffered, but someone who no longer uses suffering as an excuse to stay weak. Forgiveness is often misunderstood. Many believe it is about accepting the wrong or excusing the actions of others. But true forgiveness is not about them, it is about you. It is the act of releasing yourself from the burden of carrying anger, bitterness, or revenge. Holding on to pain may feel like protection, but it is actually imprisonment. In the teachings of Shaolin, we are taught that the energy you carry shapes your reality. If you carry resentment, your heart remains heavy, and a heavy heart cannot move freely. Forgiveness is not something you give because the other person deserves it. It is something you give because you deserve peace. This is why it is not an emotional reaction, it is a disciplined decision. When you hold on to a grudge, you are tethering your spirit to the past. You may relive the same moment again and again in your mind, hoping somehow that it changes, but it never will. The past is unchangeable. What can change is your relationship to it. Forgiveness is the doorway to that change. It doesn't mean forgetting what happened or pretending it didn't hurt. It means choosing to stop pouring your life energy into something that cannot serve you anymore. In Shaolin wisdom, we are reminded, you cannot walk forward while looking backward. When you forgive, you are not erasing memory. You are removing emotional weight from that memory so it no longer dominates your present choices. There is great strength in forgiveness. It is not weakness. In fact, it may be one of the most powerful acts of discipline and courage a person can perform. Why? Because to forgive means to face your pain with open eyes and say, you do not control me anymore. The ego does not like this. The ego thrives on keeping score, on being right, on staying angry. But the path of self-mastery is not guided by ego, it is guided by wisdom. And wisdom understands that clinging to anger is like drinking poison and hoping the other person will suffer. You only damage yourself. This is why the Shaolin path always points inward. Not to blame the outside world, but to refine the inner world. To forgive is to step into that refinement. It is an act of inner liberation, cleaning the heart so that compassion, clarity, and strength can rise. Finally, we must remember that forgiveness is not always directed at others. Often, the one we need to forgive most is ourselves. We may carry guilt, shame, regret, long after the moment has passed. But guilt, too, is a form of ego. It says, I should have known better, even when we didn't have the awareness we have now. The truth is, you did what you could with the understanding you had at that time. And now, with greater awareness, you must let go. Self-forgiveness is the foundation for growth. If you cannot forgive yourself, you will sabotage every step forward. The past has already taken enough from you. Do not let it take your future. Release yourself. Liberate the energy. Clean the wound. This is the wisdom of forgiveness and the discipline of true inner freedom. One of the greatest obstacles to personal transformation is mistaken identity. People often internalize their past mistakes, failures, or traumas and begin to believe that these experiences define who they are. But in the Shaolin tradition, we are taught that your essence is not what has happened to you, nor what you have done. Your essence is the awareness that sees, feels, and chooses. You are not the stain, you are the cloth that can be cleaned. You are not the chaos, you are the stillness beneath it. You are not the pain, you are the space in which pain arises and falls away. To remember this is to reclaim your power. You must never confuse the dirt with the one who has the ability to wipe it away. When we begin to clean our inner world, our thoughts, emotions, and past, it's easy to become overwhelmed by what we find. Guilt, shame, grief, anger, they may rise with force. And when they do, many people become discouraged. They believe these emotions are who they are at their core. But this is not true. These emotions are passing conditions like storms moving through the sky. The sky remains untouched. You are like the sky. The clouds may darken it for a time, but they cannot stain it. This is why meditation and self-observation are so important. They train us to watch without identifying. When you observe your anger without feeding it, it loses power. When you watch your sadness without clinging to it, it begins to dissolve. This watching is the act of cleaning, and the one who watches the real you is always pure, always capable of renewal. Many people seek external validation to feel clean, to feel worthy. They look for someone to forgive them, approve of them, or tell them they are good enough. But this dependence keeps the power outside of you. In Shaolin philosophy, self-mastery begins with self-responsibility. You must understand no one can clean your mind for you. No one can remove the residue of your past. It is your task, and that task begins with remembering that you are the cleaner. You have the broom, you have the water, you have the intention. When you sit in silence, when you breathe consciously, when you take responsibility for your energy, these are all acts of purification. They are quiet, invisible, and deeply powerful. You do not need a witness to begin. You need only a decision to stop identifying with the dirt and start moving with the cleaner's discipline. This understanding brings tremendous freedom. Because if you are not the dirt, you are not permanently broken. You are not condemned. You are not stuck. You are evolving. You are remembering. You are returning to what is already whole inside you. In every martial movement, in every breath of Qigong, in every moment of mindful awareness, you are restoring order to your inner temple. This is the beauty of the path, not that it makes you perfect, but that it teaches you to stay clean. Not once, but every day. And every time the dust returns, as it will, you meet it not with fear, but with clarity. You do not panic. You do not collapse. You simply begin to clean again. Because now you know you are not the dust. You are the one who's. If you wish to move forward, you must first release what holds you back. The past cannot be changed, but your relationship to it can. You are not your failures. You are not your wounds. You are the one who sees, who chooses, and who acts. Like the Shaolin monk who cleans the temple floor every morning, not out of necessity, but as a sacred discipline, you too must clean your inner temple. Not once. Every day. Let go of the anger. Forgive the past. Free yourself from the burden of carrying what no longer serves your journey. Because to carry yesterday into tomorrow is to stay stuck in a loop that was never meant to define you. You are not here to repeat, you are here to awaken. So clean your past, stand tall in the present, and walk forward into your future with clarity, lightness, and freedom.